Hi, everybody. It's Theresa. It's Sunday afternoon, and I just arrived home from church a little while ago. And in a few minutes, I'm going off to the funeral home to pay respects to my friend and neighbor that passed away. And as soon as I got home, I have maybe a half an hour, 45 minutes. And as soon as I got home, all I could think about is eating, about food. And I can't be really that hungry. I ate breakfast late before church. I had breakfast about 9 o'clock, and here it is, a little after noon, 12 noon. So I'm not hungry, physically hungry, but all I want to do is eat. And I began to think about using food in ways other than for fuel. You've heard me, or you may have read that I wrote about that before, and I am so guilty of it this week. We are conditioned by society to use food for all sorts of things other than just the energy that we need. I've spoken before at length about um, how people showed me as a child that they loved me was by feeding me, especially after the death of my father and growing up. When I was sad, the way to fix it and to make Teresa feel better was to give her something to eat or make a special treat. And those old things, those old attitudes are really hard to break, because earlier this week when I got word of my neighbor's death, the very first thought after the initial grief and shock was, "Oh my goodness, I have to make food. I have to bring food over to their home." And why is that? Is that because I was concerned that they would be starving or they would go hungry? Not necessarily. It was, I have to show Pat, I have to show the family how sorry I am about their loss. And the way that I do that is the way that I learned: you make food, you bring food. Now, obviously, this has a very practical sense. There's all sorts of people and out of town guests, and, that's just a nice gesture. But it's a typical example of what we do. When I was in the elementary school system, working with the children in the school and in the parish, the way that we rewarded them for a good job was by food. A pizza party or an ice cream party to the group that sold the class that sold the most magazines, or the ones who brought the most canned goods in. On somebody's birthday, we have a feast, we have a celebration, and those are all good things. But we get the idea that food is a reward, and food is a way of showing someone that you love them. This week was a particularly stressful week between work and some emotional things I was going through last week, and remembering loved ones who had passed away, and again with the death of my neighbor. All I wanted to do is eat. I'm not sleeping well, so I'm running on low energy. And when I'm hungry, when I'm tired, I want to eat. When I'm sad, I want to eat. When I'm bored, I want to eat. When I'm anxious or nervous, like I am right now, waiting to go, dreading going to that funeral home and seeing my friend. Also, I'm sitting here waiting to see if my PBS show is going to air at 12:30. If it's my episode, they had a big screw up or mix up last week, and that just added to the stress. And so the anxiety of, oh my goodness, my story's going to be on TV. And so what do I want to do? I revert back to those old habits. I want to eat. Not because I'm physically hungry, but for all other reasons. And so I need to resist that, and I need to begin to remember that food is only for fuel. And so, I've shared again before in various venues that my prayer every day is, Lord, please replace the hunger and the desire for things that are not good for me with the hunger and a desire to do good. It's also, Lord, please replace the desire for emotional eating, for comfort eating, for eating when I'm not hungry, with the desire to eat only when my body needs fuel. So I encourage you in the coming week, when you're finding yourself extremely famished or very tempted, to stop and think about what's the emotional trigger. Are you really hungry? Are you tired or nervous or anxious or upset? And to make sure that the food that we're putting in our bodies is nourishing and wholesome and healthy, so that we can continue to make progress, we can continue to grow strong, we continue to change our lives. Have a good weekend, everybody. Enjoy the day, and I'll be talking to you again real soon. You can do it. Don't give up.